Okay, here it is. As you can see, I've got a topic that's pretty interesting. Now, I know how this works. A lot of times you can put a headline and people read what they want to read. So I have this: no human being is trash, and here's why. But some people probably read human beings are trash. Well, please don't do that. It's just like we just have this. I know the internet works. Most of us have read headlines without even reading them. We just read the headlines, and we just have we just take whatever we can from the headline, and we don't even care about what the article actually says. We just take the news we want to hear. Um, so I'm sure after I post this, some people are going to be saying, "Oh, hey, look at Mark. He says that people are trash, or that some people are trash." And it's like they take the words human being and trash and they put it together and they think they've got some takeaway here. Well, that's not the takeaway I want you guys to get from here. I definitely don't want you guys to get that human beings are trash. I believe just the opposite is true. Um, you know, okay. I got this out of the way. So here's a proper introduction. If you're not familiar with me, I'm Mark. I write for a website known as TheGeekChurch, and I also do a video channel that's associated with that. And I also have this TikTok channel, which is also associated with that. So there's a bunch of stuff you can do here. Anyway, now basically, my website used to be organized as a tech blog. Essentially, I would write about the latest in electronics and stuff like that. That tech blog thing was kind of big back in the mid, 2000s or something like that. I got bored on a lot of that writing experience, and I just kind of didn't really quit. And so I want to do a tech blog that was targeted for the Christian crowd, but I've since gone another direction on that. And basically, I don't really do that anymore. And essentially, without getting into too much, in fact, this might be worth another love speech, as I will call it, as I'll explain. I might be getting ahead of myself here. But essentially, I haven't really gone into. Basically, I did an article explaining why I had to kind of leave Christianity behind, but I still do a lot of tech reviews. And if you look at my TikTok, we have a lot of subscribers, and so we get a lot of stuff in that we can do. And since the holiday season is coming up here, or we're about to head to it, we'll be reviewing a lot of stuff for that. But hey, let's see. So basically, why I wanted to do this. I do still have church in the name of my website and in pretty much the name of the TikTok page. I kind of still, I don't think church should be used as just a Christian thing. I think that it could be used as anyone who brings good news of any type, and I'd like to do that. So this is going to be my first love speech. And yes, I created that term as an opposite of hate speech, because honestly, we hear way too much hate speech these days. Now, honestly, I was originally going to call this an anti-sermon, because I thought I'm probably going to do like a sermon. But here's the thing, it's not really a sermon, because that implies the whole Christian thing. And as I've said before, I am not 100% Christian, but I'm not 100% anti-Christian. So hey, that's how that's going to work. So basically, this is my first love speech, entitled that human beings are not trash. And yeah, and here's why. Okay, so basically, here's the thing. I actually think it's socially acceptable to think that some people are trash. Or I believe that there's just certain behaviors, lifestyles, and other factors that certain type of people just deem as being less than normal. And I've seen people, they just think that a certain type of people are like just complete trash. They want to just write them off. And I can understand this. And this is inherent. I've discovered this in me, and I don't like it. And I am doing everything I can to get rid of it. And I want to talk to you about it. I want to talk to you about how you can get rid of this attitude in your own life, because honestly, it will bring you down and it will bring others down. And so now, here's the thing about this. You can say that certain people are trash because they don't fit the norm, but I'm discovering these days that norm is really just a hard category to define when it comes to humanity. I think we would like to think that most of us are pretty much have minimal problems and we walked around, but we are not perfect people. We're not even close to being perfect people. So when you get all these imperfect people around, naturally they're going to uh, not gel with every other person, and you're going to get people that are not willing to accept differences in others. And honestly, and there are some differences I have to admit I won't accept. I won't accept somebody who wants to hurt me. That is not acceptable to me. But should that person be hurt? Should that person be cast out? Should they be made to be trash because they want me to be trash? Well, that's a different story altogether, isn't it? And so I have to say, here's the thing. I know that there are people that think that others are trash, as I've said before, but I am not going to condone that. I think that most of these people that think that have their own levels of justifying that are so deep that they are generations deep. And this is where it gets very difficult to talk about because I'm going to be generalizing a lot of things, but I'm going to be using some examples here. So now, as far as how okay, I realize that when I have that thing that no human being is trash, usually you define terms before you get into what your principal argument is about. I think we all know what trash is. We all think that the stuff that we throw away every week that we just don't need, we consider trash. But basically, it's like not only do we not need it, but we don't even want it. Or if we keep it around, it's just going to smell bad. And hey, that's going to be that. But we don't want that around. So basically, let's put it this way. So if you believe that certain people are trash, maybe you're not the type who are the Nazis that want to basically systematically take these people and put them into death camps until they are utterly eradicated. Perhaps you just don't simply want somebody around of this certain type. And that could be a very bad thing here because eventually that is going to catch up to you. And I guarantee that for every person that you think is trash, there's probably groups of people that think that you are trash. So we have to learn to live with each other, okay? But let me get to that. I'm going to use some examples. I'm in the business of retail, and in retail, lately this term has been coined in the past 2 years as Karen. Essentially, this idea of a person who comes in and just assumes that they are very privileged and basically wants things done their way. And if they're not done their way, they'll call a manager and they'll make a big stink out of it. And these are people that honestly, I don't know why we even have this term, and I'm not sure how it even got associated with a person named Karen. Which is terrible. I actually know several people named Karen who are nothing like Karens, if you know what I mean. So I think that's kind of a little bit of a strange thing that we have going on there. And yeah, so here's the thing. I think we would love to just assume that these Karen people are just trash. And but there's also other things that I have noticed in working retail. Every day I meet customers that I believe are very belligerent. They seem to have low-level intelligence. And there was a few I encountered the other day that my mind just went trash. It just went there. I'm not saying that okay, I'm going to say it, that, hey, subconsciously, there's something in our minds that just goes, that's trash. We just do this as human beings. And yes, I did that the other day with these customers, and I feel terrible for that. I guess I felt like, and here's the deal. I didn't know these people, but I really had to fight just to think something non-negative about these people that I saw. And there's just something in our minds that when we encounter these people that we don't like or we don't get along with, we want to just say that they're trash. And it's just like, and it's such, it seems like such a little thing, but it's so if it's just properly nourished, it can just become, it is the reason why we have so many terrible, horrific genocides out there. And we got to stop this thing. If you stop this thing small, it doesn't grow big. That's how that works. So I wish I didn't think that about those people that I just talked about. But what I've discovered about if you believe that any person is inferior, or any types of people are inferior, it really is hard to unthink that thought. I've always discovered that it's much harder to unthink something than it is to think something. And when it comes to that, it's just that you have to really, you just have to really just, you have to really dissect why in the world you just don't like that type of person. And honestly, a lot of times the problem is you. I'll just say that. Okay, so here's another example of somebody that I have thought was trash. I have this one person who I figured out pretty much from the day I met this person that they have mental problems. Okay? And I don't know about you, but there are some times I have problems talking with people who are mentally challenged. I will admit that. And I'm probably mentally challenged myself. I've discovered things in my life that I don't really like, that I've discovered that people have, I believe, maybe thought of me as trash because of these mental problems that I've had. That's a little bit complex, and I don't really want to get into that now. I have a hard time, I just really have a hard time around it. It takes a lot of patience, and patience is not really something that I think is my strong suit. And if you are trying to say that that's bad, you're right. It is. I don't like it either. And but just by telling me that it's bad, I'm not going to go, oh, that's just okay, and change. That it doesn't work that way. It never does. So basically, this person that I talked to you about that has had mental problems. This person I tried to help out just to be as a friend, but then this person kind of became, I don't know. It was like I would give this person rides, but this person just kept asking for them constantly and constantly and constantly. And I began to wonder if this person was even able to help themselves. And I think these are the types of people that we think are trash. People that are not only not helping others, but they are not even doing a good job of helping themselves. But the thing is, here's the thing. We live in a world where people are not quite wired correctly all the time. Okay? That's just how that is. There are some people that cannot take care of themselves, that need people to take care of them, or that need help for people taking care of them. That it's very hard for them to even go out there and socialize. I understand about that. And so if you know this, you can have at least a little bit of empathy and sympathy for them. So, and hey, I'll be honest with you, this person, eventually I had to essentially unfriend in real life. I say hi to them if I see them, but I do not call them or make any time with them as I used to do. I hated having to do that because essentially it is calling a person trash. But I have attempted to work out things, and it just didn't really work out. After a few tries, eventually, after trying enough, you basically just have to say, okay, I gotta quit this. There's something inside us sometimes with situations that require that. I don't like it either, and it's very ugly. But that's really what it is. Okay. So, basically, here's the deal. Then there's situations like where there is prejudice. There are people that simply hate black people. There are people that hate Jews. They have their reasons, and as I've said before, they're very ingrained, and you can't just tell them not to do it. And it's crazy. Now, I know that here's the deal. This is where it is a very difficult issue. Because honestly, I would love to just tell anyone who has prejudice to just go away. I would love to fight them to go away. there's times I wish that there are groups that are just purveyors of hate speech in this world that honestly I kind of wish we would just send in the National Guard and just get rid of them. I know that would cause more problems than it would solve. So, as I mentioned before, we don't really have a norm when it comes to human beings. We human beings are inherently, I believe, imperfect. And so, when it comes to a gold standard for human beings, I believe that gold standard is this. If you are faced with something that is very hard, if there is somebody who is oppressing them back is usually not the best answer. Now, there are exceptions to this rule. If someone came in here and pulled a gun at me, I would hope I would be able to resist them by taking the gun out of their hands. But hey, they could overpower me, and hey, I'm dead. Okay, that's how that works. That's kind of life. Sorry to say. So yeah, to think that someone is anyway. So we live in a world where people do this. They call certain people trash. To call some people trash is very easy. If you look around, you can see people who are not part of the solution, but part of the problem. You go downtown these days, there are lots of homeless on the streets. And a lot of people might think of them as trash of life, and I do not think that way. I wish I could afford to feed every one, but I cannot. I have to say, I sympathize because we are really only one lost job away from being homeless ourselves. And it's really just severe, great privilege that we have, that all of us have jobs and we can all have homes of our own and we all have places for people that love us. And I think that's great. And I really wish that upon every person in the world. But hey, I found this quote the other day and that I really liked. It says, "Don't judge people for the choices they make when you don't know the options they had to choose from." And I felt that was super cool because honestly, I see that. It is tough. I don't like going in the big city because when I do see a lot of homeless and yeah, I don't even know what to say, honestly. But the reality is that life, at least in the United States, is of constantly needing work to provide the basic needs of food and shelter. Or, as the 21 Pilots song goes, wake up, time to make money. And guess what? It's difficult to find a job. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody has done that. And so, guess homeless is the only option when there is one option. I'm not saying I like it. I am saying the opposite. I don't think homeless are trash because honestly, every one person of every homeless person has hopes, needs, and dreams, desires, and loves. And if you think about that, if you think about any person, we as human beings can't be categorized. That's why I dislike calling people trash so much because it is the ultimate negative in categorization and stereotyping. It's just that you have that there, and we just shouldn't have that. It really is. Okay, so even though, and yeah, I don't think that the poor are trash, but honestly, the ones I really actually want to call trash are actually the rich. And I'll be very honest here. I especially don't like the rich people that don't really do anything, but they have all the followers kind of do them for it, and then they just kind of take the credit. And I'm not really going to give you examples because you already know people like this. I'm not going to give you examples from business or politics of people like this, but I think we all know that these people exist, and a lot of this have probably existed in your life. We all know people that are just out of privilege or that are born of privilege who just don't really do nothing or haven't really earned their stripes or their title or whatever, and just have people around them who just seem to think they do. I once had a bad experience with this. I helped out someone in authority, and I'm not going to go into more detail with that. That might be a topic for another love speech. One day I wasn't able to do this certain task, and this person yelled at me, and it really made me feel like trash. And I can honestly say I fight these bad feelings every day. Just if you truly just get in people's face and really make them feel like crap, they will feel like crap. Don't be that way. Just don't. Come on. Anyway, so I don't know why as a society we put these rich, privileged people on this pedestal and they don't deserve it. And then we dress up that pedestal even after that person has long since proven their inadequacy. It is crazy. But these privileged people don't need our help. The poor do. The problem is we are so busy helping those that are privileged get more privilege that we're turning our back to those that actually genuinely need help. We need to flip this somehow. We've daily disproved that trickle-down theory as the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And this is something that we're just going to see more happening. Okay. Now also, hey, I'm not telling you that the rich are trash, all right? I will tell you that here's the thing. Like I said, no one is trash. The people that I think are the most, that could basically, all right, I'll just put it this way. The thing I don't like about it, anyone that says that someone is trash, even implying it or anyway, I believe that person maybe has deserved that title of trash themselves. I'm going to say maybe on that because honestly, I don't want to categorize anyone as trash. But you can hear my attitude on this. How this is a problem. I can give you enough tolerance on this, but at some point in time, my tolerance level is going to deplete completely. Anyway, so when it comes to saying that someone is trash, honestly, we have a lot of people who want to blame the black and the red and the yellow and stuff like that. Those kind of groups. Basically categorizing via skin color. But honestly, if we really want to blame a color, yeah, I'd have to blame the white people, okay? I'm going to be very obvious. I'm white myself, and I'm not exactly proud of my heritage because my heritage is based on a lot of tearing down of other people's heritage. I'll be very obvious. I mean, isn't it strange that we have that term white trash? That I've heard people use that, and they don't see. They wouldn't use the N word, or they wouldn't use other racial slurs like that. But when it comes to white trash, I think that's perfectly socially acceptable to use that term. And honestly, I don't really approve of it. It's not a term I really want to use myself. Because that implies that someone is, in fact, waste. And the problem with implying that somebody is trash is that usually implies that they need to be disposed of. And the thing about, I've noticed that certain leaders that tend to put people in the category of trash never want to take out the garbage. They always find other garbage men to do it. Don't you find that kind of strange? They always find followers that can do it, as I've said. Once again, the privileged, the rich, they have these followers. Why do they have them? I don't know. They didn't deserve them. Who knows? Anyway, but it's strange that even in a woke society, we have this term white trash. I've even heard the term trailer trash to imply people that just hang around trailers all day, I guess. Now, I mean, I've actually spent 2 decades living in a trailer. I don't live in one now, but I did beforehand. I would not call myself trailer trash. I worked for a living when I could find work. And yes, buying a house is expensive. And not everyone can do it. Not everyone can put the down payment on there. They just can't. I understand why people will live in housing like trailers that honestly are probably not good for your health. Some of them are. Some of the older models are. I think we're getting... Actually, I don't know. I think we're probably getting more people living in trailers than we ever had, and that level is probably going to rise. And hey, as far as housing costs are concerned, I can see why. So, anyway, my neighbors when I lived in the trailer, Most of them are really decent people. Most of them are very nice, and I would not even think of them to call them trash. I mean, I just wouldn't. To me, they're friends. It's the best way to get to not. Best way to just not think of anybody as trash is to get to know them, find out what they like, because chances are it's probably what you like. As far as just, we all have the basic needs, and people just need to feel. And if we just do that, we just get to know them. That's what we need to do. So, but here's the thing about white people. I can't believe that we ever did this. That white people once went to Africa, saw the beauty of it, saw the people there, and basically said, hey, look, free labor. We did that. We did that as white people. That is crazy that that ever happened. I mean, seriously, we went to up to human beings and decided to use them as commodities because we couldn't build a robot that could do that. We did that, and and here's the funny thing: we still live with this today. We've seen a lot in the past few years about Black Lives Matter, and honestly, it is a movement that makes a whole lot of sense to me. I mean, look at what we did to Africans, and we're still mistreating African Americans. I just feel like all these riots that come out are really the result of just white people treating black people terrible. And honestly, I'm actually surprised that something like that has just never exploded, and I don't ever want it to. But hey, and I'm generalizing a lot. I'm not saying that white people are inherently evil, but I am saying that white privilege does exist, and I don't support violent protests. I really don't. I understand that there's a need to, if someone is oppressing you, yeah, you do have to fight back. That's difficult to say when it's, honestly, tell you what, if you want to fight back, you can. Just make sure that when the dust clears, you have settled more problems than you have solved. I guess that's pretty much what I have to say on that. And also, if you see someone indulging in hateful behavior, don't assume that person's trash, or don't assume that group is trash. They're probably doing it because they themselves have been hurt. If you can find out who has hurt them, you might be able to stop them from doing more damage to themselves and others. If that person is you who has hurt them, stop doing it. Okay? Just stop. Figure out how you can do that later. But hey, you just got to do that. Okay. We all know about people like Martin Luther King and Gandhi, and I believe they are revered for their passive resistance. They were not perfect, of course, but they really helped create positive change. That's what I need. That's what we need. That's what I'm trying to do here with my website, is to really create some positive change. And yeah, I understand I'm not really going to get a lot of hits on this and whatever. I mean, I'm still going to do it. That's how it works. So yeah, if you meet another person that is willing to believe that another person is trash, tolerate them. That's really all you can do. And yeah, you can tell them that, hey, you shouldn't think that way. They're not going to believe you. Not at first. But I always wonder about, I think about the Holocaust, and I wonder about how, I don't know what Hitler's plan was, and I don't know if we can just blame it on one single person. But he does get that rep that he encouraged the Nazis to essentially take the Jews and put them in the death camps. 6 million are dead because of him, or because of this group. I mean, it wasn't Hitler doing it. Hitler didn't kill one single Nazi, at least physically. It's not like he went up and killed them themselves. I don't know what his plan was. His plan was to put them in the Nazis took property from the Jews that they did not really earn, and they just, and they put them in the slums. And that's just, and then they had the final solution, which was, okay, let's just kill them all. And that's what happened. you know, it just boggles my mind that not only did we do that, we did that very, okay. All right, I'm getting an invitation to go live. I'm gonna decline for now because I'm just about wrapping this up. It's just that we did that in such a recent time, like not more than 100 years ago, and that just I just think like how in the world could we have done that? Anyway, so how do we solve this problem? If we have people that think that certain people are trash, what do we do? Trash them? I'd like to. Hey, I mean, I'll be honest. It's reaction. It's gut level reaction. So it's like if someone is hurting you, you hurt back. That's a gut reaction. As human beings, I don't feel like we should do that. I feel like that's what separates us from the animals, is not to go by gut reactions all the time. It just, because we could create definitely more harm than any good that we could do. So, yeah. Now, here's the deal. Do you see humans doing depravity? You are. I mean, I see it every day. And oftentimes it's just little things. It really is. To think of people as trash or anything like that, it's just, don't nurse that. I'm not saying don't say it out loud. I'm saying stop it from inside before you get to those thoughts, because they will take you down a wrong level. So, here's the thing. Not every human being is doing this. Not every human being is calling other human beings trash. And I guarantee that those that are calling human beings trash, those that they're calling trash are probably persecuting another type of human being. Strange. We just do this. Now, here's where I get to the main point. Any person that calls a human being trash is at least serving some purpose. They're at least showing you what not to do. So if you see people out there that are just living a life without any sense of purpose or whatever, and I might have to do another love speech about purpose and how just the abuse of that word has created a lot of stuff going on here. But yeah. Anyway, so if that person is treating people like trash, they're the example of what not to do. Don't follow that example. Start another purpose. Anyway, this has been Mark from the Geek Church, and I'm signing off. Hope to do this again next week, and hope we'll get more people joining here on this. I'm going to stay live just for a little bit, just in case somebody actually does want to join up again. But I doubt it. And, okay, so let's see. All right. I got someone here named Neon Speed. Okay, I can't really. Okay, I'm going to follow this person, and hopefully I can check out their videos. And honestly, this person came in. I didn't really know. I'm kind of new to this whole TikTok live thing. I've only done this a few times. I mostly do gadget reviews, and occasionally I just talk about TV shows. That's kind of my thing. So I'm glad to be doing this, and I'll be doing this again. And here's what I'd like to do. I'm going to put the video of this. I've actually been filming this twice on 2 different cameras, and actually 2 different cell phones, and I want to make sure that I can upload it to YouTube, assuming they'll accept it due to the proper length. And hey, maybe I'll start this going on. I did have a very unnice comment saying, like, can you not talk? No, I'm going to talk. So, to answer that question, but I'm sure you've logged off by now, as I can see that nobody's really listening here. So, anyway, That's all for now. This is Mark Rollins from the Geek Church.